Namaste children, welcome to our next class. Here you are going to learn about luminous and non-luminous objects. Luminous means you can see in this picture some diyas which giving us light. So these are the sources of light and the objects which give us light by themselves known as luminous objects. So here we will do one activity. You need a candle, torch, matchbox, mirror, content book, your workbook and the notebook you need to complete this activity. And before going to the activity, you learn the keywords from this lesson. The first one is Luminous, luminous, object. Object. Luminous object means object that gives us light, its own light. It has to give its own light. So such objects are known as luminous objects.
Luminous object. Object that gives out its own light.
Non-luminous object. Non, Luminous, luminous, object. Object. Non-luminous object means object that does not give out its own light, known as non-luminous object.
Non-luminous object. Object that doesn't give out its own light.
Now here you can do the activity. What are you able to see here? A candle and a torch light. They can give their own light. When you on the matchstick and light the candle, then it gives us light. Even the battery, when we keep some cells in that, it can give the light. So matchstick is needed, and a mirror cannot give the light. Only when the light falls on it, it reflects that light. Yes. So here I'll show you some objects to you. You had to find out that whether they are able to give their own light or not. That you have to find out. So now you can see this. Look at the mirror, your pencil, your rubber and your sharpener. Once you are with your partner, look at the glowing torch, the burning matchstick and the sun and the candle. Now what we'll do in the activity, how will you sort out these things which I am giving in this picture? You have to sort out the things into two parts by which gives the light and which cannot give the light. So here the pencil. Is the pencil able to give the light? No. A candle, yes, it can give the light. So all the objects which gives us light, you write it in one column, and the objects which do not give us light, you keep it in another column. So under the objects which gives us light, what all the things can come, you just write these names under that. The candle gives us light, the torch gives us light, the matchstick gives us light, the sun gives us light. Okay, so these all the things, you write it in one column, and whereas the pencil will not give us light, the eraser, the sharpener, the mirror, these are the things which cannot give us light. Yes? Now, to understand more about this lesson, please watch the video.
Some objects give out their own light. Objects can be sorted in two groups, the ones that give out their own light and the ones that don't.
So we can sort out the objects into two groups based on the light. So the objects which gives us light by their own, they are known as luminous objects. And the objects which cannot give the light They are known as non-luminous objects. So now we will discuss the activity. What is special about a burning candle and matchstick, a glowing torch and the sun? Special about a burning candle and matchstick, a glowing torch and the sun. Glowing torch compulsory need a battery for giving us light, but the sun is natural star, it gives us light by its own, whereas the candle need a matchstick to light it. Yes. So the objects like a burning candle and matchstick, a glowing torch and the sun give out light of their own. Objects that give out light of their own are known as luminous objects. Sun is a natural luminous, whereas torch and candle are human made. When human beings apply their force to light them, then only they are able to give us light. Whereas sun and stars are natural objects which gives us light. But all of them are coming under luminous objects because they have their own light. Now, how are luminous objects different from non-luminous objects? Luminous objects gives us light by their own, whereas non-luminous objects will not give us light by their own. Yes, luminous objects have light of their own, whereas non-luminous objects do not have light of their own. Some examples of luminous objects are the sun, the stars, a glowing bulb, and fire. Some examples of non-luminous objects are the moon, trees, bricks and shoes. Right? So you can see the picture to understand more about luminous objects and non-luminous objects. Here you can see the bulb, the sun and the stars are luminous objects, whereas moon, tree and shoes, these are non-luminous objects. Moon gives us light, but when the sunlight falls on it, it's just reflecting. Now, why can't we call a mirror a luminous object, though it shines when we throw light on it? Why? Because it doesn't have its own light, only it's reflecting the light. When we throw light on a mirror, most of the light bounces back. We see the mirror shining as a light source, though it does not have light of its own, just like we see the moon shining when the light of the sun bounces off it. A mirror and the moon are non-luminous objects. They are just making, when we focus the light on mirror, some light rays are coming back by touching to the mirror. It shines, but it is not a luminous object. Now, shall we discuss the questions given in the worksheet? Open your worksheet and see the questions which are given here. So, tick the natural light sources, cross the human-made light sources. What are human-made light sources and what are natural light sources? Sun is a natural light source, and firefly is also natural light source. They gives us light. Fireflies, glowworms, they are natural light sources. And lamp is man-made. Candle is man-made light source. Star is a natural light source, and a torch is man-made source. Right? Now you can see the another one. Write one difference between these two groups of objects. One is group 1 stars, fireflies and fire, and group 2 book, bottle and stone. How they both are different. You know very well, stars, firefly and fire are natural light sources. They gives us light naturally, whereas book, bottle and stone are man-made sources. They are man-made sources are human-made sources. They cannot give the light by their own. Now see the third question. The sun gives us light during the day and the moon gives us light during the night. Why is the moon still called non-luminous? Why? Because the moon is just reflecting the sunlight. Just reflect the sunlight. It's taking the light from the sun and it is just bouncing back. Some sunlight, the moon absorbs sunlight. When the sunlight fall on the moon, it just reflecting the light, bouncing back. Some light is bouncing back. So it doesn't have its own light. That's why it is known as non-luminous object. Understood, children? Now we will move on to the practice questions. Before going to the practice question, you read the textbook clearly. 14.1 lesson, clearly read from the textbook and then you answer the practice questions which are given here. So what practice questions are there, we'll see. Time for some more practice. Read the section Luminous and Non-Luminous Objects from your content book. So once we will see what has given in the content book about luminous and non-luminous objects. So there are various objects around us. Some of them have their own light. These are called luminous objects. Some objects do not have their own light and are called non-luminous objects. The objects that give out light are called sources of light or light sources. Bulb, candle, fire, these all are fireflies, these all are glowworms. Jellyfishes have their own light. Some animals such as fireflies and jellyfishes can also give out light of their own. So they all are coming under luminous objects. And now non-luminous means like glasses, flowers, pencils, stones, these all are. The sun and the stars are natural luminous objects. Some non-luminous objects like a mirror or a metal shine like luminous objects when light bounces off them. The moon shines as the light of the sun bounces off it. Okay, when it falls on the moon or on the mirror, some light rays are bouncing back, touching to the mirror and coming back. So such objects are known as non-luminous objects. They do not have light of their own. Now you go through the practice questions which are given in 4.1 in content book. So the first one you see, the dash is a natural luminous object. Is it a sun or the moon? Obviously it is sun. The sun is a natural luminous object. And the next one, some dash give out their own light. Some jellyfishes are sharka, which have the capacity to give the light. It is jellyfish. Jellyfish, fireflies, glowworms have their own light. They can give us light. Draw one luminous and one non-luminous object and color them. Write their names. A steel plate shines when we throw light on it. Is it a luminous or non-luminous and why? It shines, but it is not a luminous object. It is only the non-luminous object because the light is just bouncing back. When we throw the light on steel plate, it is bouncing back. Some light rays are bouncing back. Because of this, the steel plate shine, but not by natural light. It doesn't have its own light. That's why steel plate comes under non-luminous object. Understood, children? So nicely you go through this lesson 4.1, prepare, read nicely, and complete the content book and the practice questions and send me the pics and be ready for submission of your books. Thank you.